In the lush, picturesque kingdom of Castoria, a small but prosperous European monarchy, life for the royal family seems nothing short of perfect. At the center of this royal spectacle is Princess Isabella, the only daughter of King Leopold and Queen Marguerite. Castoria is a peaceful, wealthy land where the monarchy is cherished, but behind the golden walls of the palace, Isabella feels stifled by the overwhelming responsibilities and constant supervision that come with being a princess. Isabella, now in her mid-20s, has grown into a beautiful and poised woman, admired by the people of Castoria. However, she feels increasingly confined by the rigid protocols of court life. Though outwardly, she appears composed and graceful, she has long dreamt of breaking free from her title and living as a regular person. Her royal duties, including constant public appearances, lessons in diplomacy, and rehearsed speeches, make her yearn for a simpler, more genuine existence. Her father, King Leopold, is traditional and protective. He sees Isabella's role as paramount to the future of Castoria, and to solidify alliances, he has arranged a marriage between her and Duke Alaric, a charming but distant nobleman from a neighboring kingdom. Though Alaric is handsome and respected, Isabella feels no connection to him and is disheartened by the prospect of an arranged marriage with a man she barely knows. As the wedding plans are set in motion, Isabella finds herself spiraling into frustration. The idea of being shackled to a life of duty, one where love, spontaneity, and freedom are out of reach, is unbearable. Desperate to live life on her own terms, she makes a bold decision. She will escape Castoria and experience life as a regular person, away from the gaze of the press, the palace, and her royal obligations. Under the cover of night, with only a few essentials packed, Princess Isabella sneaks out of the palace through a secret tunnel, a passageway known only to the royal family for generations. With the help of her loyal lady-in-waiting, Cecilia, who is privy to her dreams of freedom, Isabella boards a private plane bound for the city of Mastovia, a bustling metropolitan hub known for its mix of modernity and historical charm. It's the perfect place for her to hide in plain sight. Upon arrival, Isabella is overwhelmed by the sights and sounds of Mastovia. The sprawling city streets, the towering buildings, and the cacophony of voices are a world apart from the quiet, orderly life she knew in Castoria. She walks through the crowded squares, mesmerized by the people who move so freely, so unaware of her royal lineage. However, her excitement quickly turns to fear when she realizes that her meticulously planned escape has a glaring flaw. She has no practical skills for survival in the real world. She has little money and no idea how to navigate the complexities of day-to-day life without the help of servants or palace aides. After wandering aimlessly through the streets of Mastovia for hours, exhausted and disoriented, she stumbles into a busy market square. It is here that she has her first encounter with Luca Valente, a charming, carefree man in his early 30s who works as a street vendor and occasional driver. He's lived in Mastovia his entire life, accustomed to the hustle and bustle of the city. Seeing Isabella in distress, Luca assumes she is just another lost tourist. Luca offers her help, seeing the vulnerability in her eyes. Isabella, hesitant at first, accepts his offer. She introduces herself simply as Bella, careful not to reveal her true identity as a princess. Luca is kind-hearted but direct, and he takes her under his wing, not knowing that the woman he has just met is of royal blood. Luca, ever the optimist, offers Bella a place to stay in his modest apartment in the working-class district of Mastovia. He shares the space with his younger sister, Elena, a college student, and the two of them are part of a tight-knit, supportive community. Luca, although rough around the edges, is sincere, hardworking, and unpretentious, qualities that are alien but intriguing to Bella. At first, Bella struggles to adapt to this new world. The apartment is small and far removed from the grandeur of the palace she once called home. She is introduced to daily chores like washing dishes, grocery shopping, and navigating the crowded Mastovian streets using public transportation. These experiences, though overwhelming, slowly begin to ground her. For the first time, she feels a sense of autonomy and freedom. During the days, Luca drives his old, beat-up delivery truck around the city, offering Bella a chance to see more of Mostovia from a local's perspective. She is fascinated by the vibrancy of street markets, the art, the food, and most of all, the people who live their lives freely without the burden of royal expectations. Luca, meanwhile, becomes more intrigued by Bella. He senses that there is something different about her, though he cannot quite put his finger on it. She has an air of elegance, yet there's a naivety in her that makes her stand out. Despite this, Luca finds himself drawn to her kindness and curious spirit. The two develop a bond that grows stronger with each passing day. As weeks go by, Bella becomes more comfortable in her new life, and her bond with Luca deepens. She begins to understand what it feels like to be treated as a normal person, not as a princess with duties and responsibilities hanging over her. The carefree way Luca navigates life, his ability to find joy in the simplest things, opens her eyes to a new way of living. Luca shows Bella around Mostovia, introducing her to hidden gems in the city, quaint cafes, parks, and scenic spots along the river. During one particularly memorable day, Luca takes her to a local carnival where they laugh and play games, ride the Ferris wheel, and enjoy street food. It is during these small, intimate moments that Isabella realizes she is falling in love with him. Luca, though increasingly enamored with Bella, tries to keep his feelings at bay. He assumes she's just passing through, and that a woman as refined as her would never be interested in a simple man like him. Yet, as they share stories and experiences, his feelings become harder to ignore. They bond over their mutual love for art, music, and their dreams of a life beyond what they've known. Unbeknownst to both of them, Isabella's presence in Mostovia does not go unnoticed. Back in Castoria, her disappearance has caused a nationwide search, with the media speculating about her whereabouts. The royal family is desperate to locate her, and the news soon spreads beyond the borders of Castoria, reaching even the bustling streets of Mostovia. The peaceful existence that Bella has built with Luca begins to unravel when a news bulletin airs on a TV in a small cafe they frequent. A photograph of Princess Isabella appears on screen, and Luca is shocked to realize that the woman sitting across from him is, in fact, the missing princess of Castoria. Luca's world turns upside down. He confronts Bella, feeling betrayed that she had hidden such a vital part of her identity. Bella tearfully explains why she kept her royal background a secret and how she just wanted to live a normal life, away from the burdens of her title. She feared that if Luca knew who she really was, he would treat her differently. Though Luca is hurt, he begins to understand why Bella had to escape her life as a princess. However, the revelation also brings a harsh reality crashing down on them. How could a princess and a street vendor possibly build a future together? To complicate matters further, royal agents from Castoria are now actively searching for Isabella in Mostovia. Bella knows it's only a matter of time before she is found and forced to return to her royal life, where she will be expected to marry Duke Alaric and resume her duties. The emotional tension between Bella and Luca builds as they are forced to confront the truth about their vastly different worlds. Bella's time in Mostovia is running out, and with it, the dream of a future where they can be together. The revelation of Bella's true identity as Princess Isabella sends shockwaves through both her life and Luca's. The initial hurt and confusion Luca felt has grown into a quiet acceptance, but there remains an unspoken fear in his heart that he and Bella will never truly be able to stay together in the way he desires. The gap between their lives, especially now that the reality of her royal status is out in the open, feels insurmountable. Luca's apartment, once a sanctuary for Bella, becomes a space filled with tension and uncertainty. Bella tries to explain her reasons for keeping her true identity hidden. She explains that she wasn't trying to deceive Luca, but rather trying to experience life without the burdens of her title. Luca listens, but remains torn. He loves the woman he knows as Bella, the free-spirited young woman who embraced the simplest moments in life. But now, the weight of her princesshood looms over their relationship like a shadow. Meanwhile, the search for the missing princess intensifies. Isabella's disappearance has not only caused panic in the kingdom of Castoria, but has now become a topic of international concern. Royal guards and private investigators have been dispatched to several countries, including Mastovia, and the clock is ticking. Isabella knows it's only a matter of time before she's found and forced to return to her kingdom. One evening, as Bella and Luca walk by the riverside, their usual spot of solace, they share a heart-to-heart conversation. Bella, her eyes filled with tears, admits that she has fallen deeply in love with him. Luca, despite his growing feelings, struggles to voice the same. He knows that even if their love is mutual, their worlds are too different to reconcile. How could he, a simple man from Mastovia, fit into the life of royalty? How could Bella live as a princess and be with him without sacrificing everything she's been raised to uphold? Their romantic river walk is interrupted by a sudden sight. A convoy of black cars with royal insignias speeding down the street, clearly searching for someone. Bella's heart races. She knows she's been discovered. She urges Luca to help her hide, but the reality sets in. Her days of living freely are almost over. Bella's return to the royal palace of Castoria is inevitable. The news that she has been found spreads like wildfire across Europe. Castoria breathes a collective sigh of relief as their beloved princess is brought back home. Her disappearance had caused quite the political stir, and while her father, King Leopold, is overjoyed to have her back, he remains unaware of the emotional turmoil she carries. The reunion with her family is bittersweet. On one hand, Isabella is relieved to see her parents, but on the other hand, she is devastated to leave behind the life she had found in Mastovia, especially her relationship with Luca. Her father is quick to reintroduce her to the duties of royalty, with the wedding to Duke Alaric now the highest priority. With her indiscretions forgiven, Isabella is expected to act the part of a princess once more, and arrangements for the wedding go into overdrive. Luca, left behind in Mastovia, finds himself in a fog of heartbreak and confusion. His life feels empty without Bella. He tries to carry on with his usual routines, delivering goods, spending time with his sister Elena, and wandering the same streets where he and Bella shared so many moments together. He visits the market, where he first met her, but everything feels hollow without her presence. He keeps thinking of the way she looked at him before she left, the pain in her eyes, and wonders if he made the right choice by letting her go without a fight. Meanwhile, Isabella struggles with the pressures of palace life once again. Her father pushes her to re-establish herself as the future queen, reminding her of her duty to the kingdom and the alliance with Duke Alaric's family. But Isabella's heart isn't in it. Every time she closes her eyes, she imagines herself back in Mastovia, laughing with Luca, walking through the streets as just Bella, free from the obligations of royalty, that in a rare moment of clarity, Isabella confronts her father. She tells him of her desire to live a life that's different from the one he has planned for her. But King Leopold, while loving, is steadfast in his expectations. He reminds Isabella that as royalty, she cannot live for herself alone. Her duty is to the kingdom first. The arranged marriage with Duke Alaric must happen, not just for political alliances, but for the stability of Castoria. Isabella is torn. She is expected to marry Alaric, a man she does not love, while her heart belongs to Luca. But how can she reconcile her responsibilities as a princess with her desire for love and freedom? With the wedding date approaching, the palace is buzzing with preparations. The media is full of speculation, and the kingdom of Castoria eagerly anticipates the union of its beloved princess with the charming Duke Alaric. But Isabella's heart is heavy. The grand dresses, the rehearsal dinners, and the royal meetings blur together as she becomes increasingly lost in thoughts of Luca. In Mastovia, Luca is haunted by regret. He spends sleepless nights replaying his last moments with Bella. Did he make a mistake by letting her go? Could he have fought harder for her love? These thoughts gnaw at him, and he realizes that if he doesn't act soon, he could lose her forever. One day, driven by desperation and hope, Luca decides to travel to Castoria. He knows it's a long shot, but he can't live with himself knowing that he didn't try. Elena, ever supportive, encourages him, telling him that true love is worth fighting for. With nothing to lose, Luca embarks on the journey to Castoria, a place far removed from his world in Mistovia. When he arrives, the royal wedding preparations are in full swing. The entire kingdom seems to be buzzing with excitement for the big day. As Luca navigates the grand city of Castoria, he feels completely out of place. The streets are lined with people celebrating the upcoming royal union, and everywhere he turns, he sees posters of Isabella with Duke Alaric. It feels like a fairy tale world, one he has no part in. Through sheer determination, Luca manages to gain access to the palace grounds. Posing as a vendor delivering flowers for the wedding, he sneaks past the guards and finds his way inside. The palace, with its grand halls and opulent decor, is a stark contrast to the simple life Luca knows. But none of that matters to him. He is here for one reason: Isabella. As he makes his way through the maze of corridors, he finally spots her. Isabella is alone, sitting by a window, looking out at the palace gardens. She appears regal and poised, but there is a sadness in her expression that betrays her true feelings. Luca approaches cautiously, and when she turns and sees him, her eyes widen in shock. "Luca," she whispers, her voice filled with disbelief. "What are you doing here?" "I had to see you," he replies. "I couldn't let you marry him without telling you how I feel. I love you, Bella. I know we're from different worlds, but I don't care. I can't lose you." Isabella is overwhelmed by emotion. She had convinced herself that she would never see Luca again, that their love was an impossible dream. But now, here he is, standing before her, willing to risk everything to be with her. "I love you too," she admits, tears welling up in her eyes. "But how can we ever be together? I'm a princess. My life isn't my own." Luca takes her hand, his grip firm and steady. "You don't have to live for anyone else, Bella. You can choose your own path. If you love me, we can make it work. We'll find a way." Isabella's heart races. She wants nothing more than to be with Luca, but the weight of her royal responsibilities still hangs over her. She knows that choosing Luca means abandoning the life she has always known, defying her father, and breaking off the engagement to Duke Alaric. It's a decision that will change the course of her life and the future of Castoria forever. The day of the wedding arrives. The grand cathedral in the heart of Castoria is filled with dignitaries, nobles, and citizens, all waiting to witness the union of Princess Isabella and Duke Alaric. The atmosphere is festive, with banners and flowers adorning the streets. But inside the palace, a very different scene is unfolding. Isabella, dressed in her magnificent wedding gown, stands before a mirror, her heart heavy with indecision. She knows what she wants, but the fear of disappointing her family and the kingdom weighs on her. Just as she is about to leave for the cathedral, Luca bursts into the room, having made one last daring attempt to reach her. He looks at her, dressed in her royal finery, and for a moment he is speechless. But then, with all the courage he can muster, he speaks. "You don't have to do this, Bella. You don't have to marry him." Isabella, her heart pounding in her chest, takes a deep breath. She knows Luca is right. She knows that marrying Duke Alaric would be a betrayal of her heart, of everything she truly wants in life. In a moment of clarity, Isabella makes her decision. She turns to her father, who has arrived to escort her to the ceremony. With all the strength she has, she looks him in the eye and says, "I can't go through with this. I love Luca, and I want to be with him. I won't marry Alaric." King Leopold, though initially shocked and disappointed, sees the sincerity in his daughter's eyes. He realizes that forcing her into a loveless marriage would only lead to her unhappiness. After a long, tense moment, he finally relents. "If this is truly what you want, Isabella, then I won't stand in your way." With her father's blessing, Isabella turns to Luca, a smile spreading across her face. Together, they leave the palace, hand in hand, ready to begin their life together. Isabella renounces her title and her royal duties, choosing a life of love and simplicity with Luca in Mistovia. They return to the city that brought them together, where they build a life filled with joy, adventure, and the freedom to be themselves. In the end, Isabella finds her happily ever after, not as a princess, but as a woman who followed her heart. And Luca, the man who loved her for who she truly was, becomes her partner in a life of love, laughter, and endless possibilities. The fairy tale may not have ended with a royal wedding, but it ended with something far more precious: true love and the freedom to choose one's own destiny. Hope you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to like it and subscribe to our channel. Your participation is essential so that we can continue to bring you more incredible stories. Share it with your friends to help our channel grow. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.